Hello and a very good evening to all you guys and gals watching out there. It's Sunday night, it's 8:30 and,
and a very good evening.
Extra time. Now, I've got obviously somewhere on here, I've got
Sunday night, it's 8:30 and a very good evening.
extra time. Now, I've got obviously somewhere. There you go. I had somehow it was playing on my other thing, so I was duplicating. I was in Dolby stereo. So anyway, good evening to everyone. It's the first one of the season. A bit like Wolves attack there, missed the goal a little bit, but yeah. So we're going to be talking tonight. We've got Chris, Jack, Callum, Wayne, and Sam already backstage in the green room, and we're going to be talking obviously regarding the first game of the season against Leeds, where Wolves were defeated once again 2-1 for the third game in a row. Actually, we've taken the lead against Leeds and failed to win. And we're going to be talking obviously about our performance rating. They're going to be giving our man of the match, but we're also going to be talking about the squad. We're also going to be talking obviously about all the news that's been coming out in the last 24 hours. It seems like a lifetime ago, the Leeds result, because we've got virtually, Fabrizio's all put it out and put it Wolves in a here we go on Conchelas Guedes from Valencia. Looks like that's coming in. It also seems likely that Captain Conor Coady is likely to move on loan initially. It seems like it's being reported to Everton. And there's also speculation tonight that Forest are now putting in a £40 million bid for Morgan Gibbs-White. So we've got lots to talk about. We want to talk about what's going on, and we want to get stuck right into it, really. So we want to get opinions. We want honest opinions. We want you guys in the chat to join in as well. And I do want to thank today, we've got brand new partners for Extra Time. That is Wolf Life. They are a Wolverhampton-based company, and they do life insurance. And there's a link in the description below. And if you click on the link and fill in the form, you get a free entry into winning a Wolves shirt as well, all for just basically filling in the form. So make sure that some of you watching get on that, because it's a chance to win a free Wolves shirt of your choice as well. So get on that in the description below, and there'll be more about them in due course. So we're going to get the other question that we're going to ask as well. The humorous question is recommended TV, Netflix program or favorite program from each of our pundits tonight. Now, we're going to welcome back first an experienced regular friend of the show, and that is Jack. Hi, Jack.
Evening, Dave. Evening, everybody. Happy new season.
Happy new season. You don't have a little bit more light on you, do you?
I can try.
Yeah, we can just see you a little bit, but you're
I'm in the dark, like the fans on the transfers.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, a lot of us are in the dark about transfers, mate.
I think so, yeah. I think that's it's going to be a theme, isn't it, for the next few weeks?
But, so whilst you're looking at that, let's just have a look at who we've got. We've already got over 75 people watching live. So if you are watching and you're enjoying this, please smash a like. I'm just checking that. Yes, everyone can. If you're a subscriber to the channel, you can join in by commenting in the chat. You can ask questions of our pundits. Adrian Richards is already saying, hi, Dave, everyone. We go again. Nick Parks, very good evening. Emma, the producer's backstage. She basically is the technical brains behind everything. And she's literally currently at the moment with her feet up on the sofa with her iPad out, keeping an eye on everything. Yay. There you go. Hello, Dingy. And then we've got quite a lot of people. So, share it on your WhatsApps, on your Facebook groups. And we're going to get stuck in. 84, mate, that's a lot better. We can see you now. First of all, let's just start off. You went to the game yesterday, Jack.
Yeah.
And talk us through. Who did you go with?
Went with my usual friends: Mark, Jane, Max, Roger, Dave, Tony, the usual lot. So
I thought you were going to go Mark, and Mark. Then for a second,
too many Marks, but it does make it easy because you just shout Mark, and there's about 4 people.
They all look around. Get us a drink. Yeah. Go and get the drink in Mark.
Yeah, I think it's Mark's round, and you end up with 4 beers, so it's fine. Yeah.
Fantastic. And where were you before the game?
Well, we went into Sheffield first. We drove up to Sheffield, went for a drink in Wetherspoons in Sheffield. Then we caught the train into Leeds and went to a pub called White Locks in the city centre.
Yeah.
I bumped into Peter Abbott, who runs London Wolves. We had a good chat with him.
Top bloke.
Yeah, and then we went straight got a taxi into the ground and got to the ground just after 2:00. So.
And whereabouts in the stadium were you?
We were right by the tunnel, so we were lower tier, West Paddock.
So you were near the centre?
Yeah, right behind the Leeds dugout, which it was interesting at full time.
Yeah, well, yes, we're going to come on to that because you would have seen a bit of that, wouldn't you? Well, where we were right in the corner. I mean, if you've watched the match vlog, you'll see that it was right literally by the corner flag, close to the Leeds fans. So there was a risk of being hit with coins, I'm guessing. I mean, I got told that last year a few people came back a lot richer and it covered their cost of their match tickets. They had that many coins in the pocket after the game. So, I mean, what did you feel about the game as a whole, Jack?
I've kind of said to people since the game, I can't be too unhappy with the performance. The result's disappointing, and I'm not going to kind of sugarcoat it. You know, I'm disappointed that we lost the game. But the performance, I think you've got to try and take the positives. I thought for decent spells of the game, we're talking 20, 25 minutes spells in the game. They couldn't get near us. We controlled possession. We moved the ball quickly. We moved it forward. We controlled play 10, 15, 20 yards further forward than we were last season. That was a big difference I noticed from obviously what we were doing last season. Likes of Neves was dictating play in their final third rather than in the centre circle or in sort of our defensive third, which I thought made a big difference. And, you know, unfortunately, it's a kind of a similar problem we had last year, scoring goals, taking our chances, doing the best to kind of capitalise on domination. We didn't do that. And my friend Dave turned to me just after, about 5 minutes before Leeds scored, and he said, they're going to win this 2-1, aren't they? And you just kind of felt that they were going to get one chance, put it away, and that would be the game, because we'd had so much possession, so much domination, and not done anything with it. Their goalkeeper made 2-3 good saves in the game. But other than that, I mean, you know,
and their defence actually made a couple of last-ditch defensive tackles as well. If you look at the challenge when Ait-Nouri was through, and it was 1-1, and you just thought he was going to go through and just slide it past the keeper, and then out of nowhere, what their central defender blocked it.
Yeah, I think that, to be fair, they defended well at times, didn't they? You know, in terms of getting blocks in and tackles and squeezing. But it just felt like it just wasn't going to happen for us. And you know, I actually thought Wang Yi-Chan had quite a good game by the standards he'd set towards the end of last season.
Do you know what, again, mate? Two things. First of all, I know Wang has got a bit of criticism, but I thought he was hungry. He was really, really putting himself about. You know, bear in mind, he didn't have a great end to last season. He's really just coming back from obviously being injured. He's had about 25 minutes in pre-season. He played 85 minutes. I thought he faded towards the end of the game. I thought he probably should have been replaced. But I thought in the first half, he was great. He tried to recreate the Gascoigne goal that Gascoigne scored against Scotland in the Euros, didn't he? When he chipped it over and hit it. It was a great shot, but it was straight at. It was literally straight at the keeper, so to speak. And I thought he did well. He got an assist for the goal as well. And he did all right. I'm sorry if there's a little bit of spam. I don't know how they're managing to comment, because you have to be a subscriber to comment. So sorry if there's a little bit of spam in the. Then they'll just get blocked off as they come through. And the other point that you make about, like, when your friend said they're going to score, you know, there's a couple of people just a minute before they scored, it's just going to. They were saying you just know what's going to happen here, and then a minute later, lo and behold, I think we kind of switch off. Really, we had it that comfortable. They got round the back. Ait-Nouri, who didn't have his best game, I didn't think, generally speaking. But it's one of those with the defender, isn't it? You're trying to cut out the attacker coming in. And how many goals do you see like that through the season when the defenders try to stop the attacker getting it and they end up diverting into their own net?
Yeah. And the other point to make is that someone else said this to me yesterday, actually. the goal that they scored, the winning goal, we didn't do that once all game. Did we just whip the ball along the floor across the 6-yard line? We didn't do that once. And like you've just said, how many times do you see that? It doesn't even have to be a particularly great ball, does it? Just a bit of pace along the 6-yard box. Defenders can't touch it because if it deflects or they don't quite get the right contact, it's going to go in the net. If the striker gambles and makes a run, he's got to tap in, hasn't he, if he times it right? And we just didn't really do that. And that's, again, something that I think a carryover from last year, isn't it? Just we don't have players just busting a gut to get on the end of crosses and the end of sort of pullbacks and things. Because, again, the first goal comes from a similar area, doesn't it? They're sort of on the angle of the 6-yard box.
The first goal, Jack, was so I mean, it was literally right in front of me. If you haven't watched the match vlog, watch the match vlog, because I've literally got that goal from the angle. Again, Aït-Nouri, I love the guy. I think he's incredibly talented. He's so skillful. He's so positive. He tries to be a little bit clever, trying to get the ball out. And, he's clever enough to be able to do that. He loses control of the ball. The ball bounces free. We have about 3 chances just to clear that ball out the box, and we didn't do it. And then the guy gets in. And then the fourth mistake really is Jose Sarr, who didn't have the best first half. He would be very disappointed to be beaten at his near post, wouldn't he?
Yeah, and I think if you watch it back, he kind of takes a small step to his right, expecting the shot to come across the goal to the far post, and by which point it's kind of done him, and he sort of tries to get his fist on it rather than his palm, and it kind of bounces off and goes in, and he kind of slides past the post, doesn't he? So he hasn't quite got his angle right either, because he's obviously too far across. So it's... But it happens so quickly, doesn't it? You have to watch the replay to kind of see that happen. So
it was a great shot. I mean, the guy literally took it and he just hammered it. And it was kind of in that little pocket right at the foot of the post, just inside of the post. If it had been a bit slightly to the other side, about probably like a couple of inches, away, or a couple of inches either side, it hits the post, and the other keeper gets down. It was in the perfect place, but he would be very disappointed. And of course, Jose Sarr, later on in the first half, nearly commits he nearly passes the ball into his own net, then gets into a mess. We get away with that. Jose Sarr's a fantastic keeper. He's brilliant. But he's, again, another one that's coming back from a bit. He hasn't played that much in pre-season. I don't think he was fully match sharp. But you have to say at 2-1, he makes a world-class save.
Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah, he kind of redeems himself a little bit, doesn't he, with the save from Bamford's header. I mean, I think with Sarr, and we kind of touched on this at points last year, didn't we? We've kind of, as a fan base, got to accept that that's what he's like. The one where he absolutely clattered the striker. I mean, for me, that's a penalty. I think they should have had a penalty because he's nowhere near the ball, and he comes out and completely flattens, is it Christensen? I mean, if that was the other end, we'd be screaming for a penalty, wouldn't we?
Do you know what?
That's kind of what he does, and you accept that, and you kind of go, sometimes he'll get it wrong and he'll cost us a goal. But other times, like you've just said, he'll make a brilliant save, or he'll do this, or he'll come off his line and clear the ball and stop a counter-attack. And I think we've kind of just got to... The same with like Aït-Nouri, you've just said, he's a great player, and I agree. But he is dozy sometimes, and he switches off, and he thinks he's in training, or he's on the five-a-side pitch, and he can do step-overs and lollipops, where he's just got to put it into the stand. And I think as a fan base, we've kind of got to go, when we've got these players and they're learning and developing, they're going to make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. But what we've got to do is make sure that they learn from them, and we can support them as a fan base to do it. I mean, I've seen people crucifying Aït-Nouri on social media and things like that. And I get it, because he was rubbish and he's cost us the game because both goals are kind of his fault. But he's a fantastic young player, and he's going to learn from it, and he's going to come back from it.
This is the thing that worries me generally about, especially on socials. I mean, I've had some stick in the past. I don't care if people don't like me or my channel, then that's fine. There's no need to be nasty about it. Majority of people are quite positive. We try and be quite a positive channel here, and family friendly. But you've got to call it out when you've got to call it out. You've got to say it when you've got to say it. And we can't turn around and we can go like Aït-Nouri didn't have his best game. But to castrate the guy and, to go in on him. And Morgan's had a bit of this as well, and we'll come on to that. And, some of the incident that I've heard about and was witnessed by people, which we'll come on to outside the ground, you couldn't blame the guy. It was his family. If I've had enough, I just want out. And I just think that's really, really, you know the incident I'm talking about with Morgan's family.
Yeah, I've heard little bits of it. To be fair, I've not heard the full thing.
So basically, I mean, we're coming out the ground. Manny saw it, and he was quite distressed about it. And it's been reported a little bit on social media that there was a Wolves fan that was having a go at Morgan or Morgan's dad or something, in front of outside the ground, and then the police got involved. There was argy-bargy going on and stuff like that. And you know, I thought the Wolves fans were really good to Morgan. You know, yesterday we were singing he's one of his own. I thought he had a good game. But when you've got some fans that do have that sort of mentality to abuse anybody, and he's already had a bit of stick, it's like, and you, as a player, you're going to think, do I really want to be here? He's been here since the age of 8. He just wants to be loved and supported now. Whether you think he's fit for the Premier League or not, you have to support your players, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the disappointing thing, really, talking about this in general, is we've had, 3,000 Wolves fans there yesterday. 2,999 of them have behaved well, supported the team, got behind them. Yeah, we've had a moan and a groan when things have gone wrong, but generally supported them. One idiot has not been able to control themselves after a couple of beers and spoilt it. And that's the thing we're talking about. We're not talking about the 2,999 who have done the right thing. We're talking about the one that's crossed the line and got it badly wrong, haven't we? And that's the same in anything, isn't it? But it's just really frustrating. And you feel for the people involved, because it's not nice, is it?
Absolutely, it's not. And what are your thoughts on Morgan, mate? Well, I mean, where do you personally stand on him in the team, on the valuation, if we should sell him? If you're chairman of Wolves right now, what's your sort of tipping point, if there is any, or is it like we're not selling him at all, or would you sell him? What would you do?
Well, from the reports, it sounds like 40 million is the tipping point. If we get an offer that matches 40 million, so 30 million plus 10 add-ons, or 35 plus 5, they're going to accept it by the sounds of it. Now, for me, if I was the chairman, if I was Jeff Shee or Scott Sellers or whoever's in charge of it, the only person I'd be talking to is Bruno Lage. And I'd be saying, right, is this guy going to be an integral part of your team going forward? Because if he is, we're going to turn down every single bid.
Yeah.
We're going to keep him, and you can build your team and your attack around him. If he's not, if he's going to be a bit part player, if he's going to be in and out of the team, then we'll use that 40 million to get you Nunes, or we'll use it to fund Guedes and Ramos, or whoever it is that's going to come in. And I think that's kind of what they've got to do. The manager's got to be central to every kind of in and out that comes in. Gibbs-White, Coady, whoever it is, the manager's got to have the final say. And it doesn't matter about the finances, because 40 million is a fantastic price for Morgan Gibbs-White, because he was fantastic in the Championship last year. But it was the Championship, and it'd be very difficult to pay £40 million for a Championship player, wouldn't it? And I do think, we're at the point where it's almost like it's too good to turn down, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll put a poll out on the Always Wolves Twitter, actually, the other day, if I can find it. This was about Morgan and the selling. So I'll just try and find this poll. Whilst I'm looking for this, what would you say your performance rating was from the Leeds game?
I'm probably going to give it a 7, because, like I said, I think there were some real positives, and I'll kind of mention them a little bit. I thought Collins was great on his debut. I can see exactly why we've signed him. I thought Kilman was unbelievable as well. I thought Podence was good. I thought Neto looked sharp. Wang looked, like we said, hungry. Looked like he got be in his bonnet about something. He was trying to prove people wrong and things like that, which is obviously quite good. I thought man of the match. I'm going to jump in on the man of the match. I thought my man of the match was Ruben Neves. I thought he was absolutely out of this world. So the way he sort of picked the whole game up in the second half and put it on his shoulder and said, right, I'm in charge now. I want to control the tempo. I'm going to control the rhythm. I'm going to say when it goes this way, when it goes that way, which way we're going, how far we're going. Everything went through him, and they couldn't get near him. And it was, it's unfortunate that he was on the losing team, really, because that's the thing about football. It's a team sport, isn't it? So you can be absolutely outstanding and still lose the game, and that was what happened with Ruben yesterday.
Absolutely. I found out that was the result of my Twitter poll, if you can see it, about what is the acceptable transfer to Wolves can sell Morgan. As you can see, 41% said not for sale, and then it was 35 million. So if we got 40 million, that would seem to satisfy most Wolves fans, I would say, by the looks of that poll. And then that was there was 468 votes. And if you're not following Always Wolves on Twitter or on socials, we're on Instagram and Twitter, so you just need to and on TikTok as well. There you go. The competition has been won, by the way, but there will be another competition coming up. So make sure that you look up for Always Wolves on all the socials. So you'd accept 40 million and then reinvest.
And I think that's the key, the reinvestment, isn't it? I mean, like I said, if Bruno wants him as part of the team, then I wouldn't accept any fee. But if he's willing to let him go in exchange for someone else coming in, then I think 40 million is a good price. And I think that's probably, fair enough to kind of say thanks for everything and good luck at Forest. And we're going to use that 40 million to bring in two players that are going to transform the team. Because that's kind of what we said way back in the end of the last season. We talked about Neves going, didn't we? And we said, well, I'd love Neves to stay, but if we get this amount of money for him, we can buy this player and this player and this player. And that's kind of how you build your team and you improve, isn't it? Now, the great thing for us is that as it stands, touch wood, Neves is still here. But there are other players that are going to move on. And if you can invest that money sensibly and you can kind of, in a way, kind of spread it across investments. So if you get 40 million for Gibbs-White and you use it to sign two 20 million pound players, you've improved the quality of your squad and the depth as well. You don't always have to go like for like. And I think that's kind of what we've got to do, really, because we're not going to sign a 40 million pound player, but we could sign two that are 20 million, which improves the ability that we've got in the team and also the squad depth. So
absolutely.
I think that's seesaw, isn't it?
Yeah, and what's the thought of this Gonçalo Guedes coming in from Valencia? What's your opinion on that? That looks as if it's a done deal. Fabio Fabrizio has said Wolves and the words "here we go" in a tweet. And
that's usually a good sign, isn't it?
That's as good as, isn't it? Really? What?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, I personally, I think he's a great signing, and I think he's the kind of player that we wanted Trincao to be last year, and unfortunately, he wasn't up to it. Someone who can play across the front three, can also play as a central striker if you need him to. I mean, if you watch some of I know it's not always a great sign, but you watch the YouTube clips.
Yeah.
Edge of the box, half a yard of space, bang, shot away, bottom corner, shot away, top corner. We don't do that enough, I don't think, as a team. Edge of the box, just have a shot. We'd always trying to kind of work the angle or, play a little 1-2. The goalkeeper's never ready when the ball's edge of the box. So get half a yard of space and get the shot away. I think you'll make a massive contribution. We were kind of looking, it was kind of breaking last night as we were kind of out and about, and we were looking at it. And I think he's played 140 games for Valencia, and he's got something like 50 goals and assists combined. So he's kind of scoring or creating a goal every 2 or 3 games, roughly, which is kind of not outstanding, but it's better than what we've got currently. So, we've always talked about Traore, what a great player to watch, but the end product's not there. And Podence is similar, isn't he? A lovely player to watch when he's on the ball, but doesn't get enough goals and assists, really. So someone who's going to come in and contribute, let's say, 8 goals and 8 assists this season is going to make a massive difference to our team.
And it looks as if that's going to happen. So obviously there might be an announcement on that tomorrow. And finally, Conor Coady, before we get on to the humorous question, thoughts on Coady? One, do you think he should go? And if so, is a loan okay, or should we get in actual money for him? And he is going to a potential rival, by the sounds of it, in Everton. Give me your thoughts.
I mean, if it's a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, it's clear that Bruno wants to play the back four. And I think if Coady does go, then I think it's almost like closing a chapter on this part of Wolves' history, isn't it? This back three. Because once Coady goes, I don't think we can go back. Because we've got players that could potentially step in and play the middle. Bolly could maybe play there, Totti, Mosquera. You'd even try Dendoncker there maybe. But it wouldn't quite be the same, would it? And I think, let's be fair about it. Our fan base, wonderfully passionate, diverse, wonderful, but demanding and can really chew a player up if they're not up to it. He's played over 300 games for this football club. Now, you don't play 300 games for Wolves unless, first of all, you've got the ability, and secondly, you've got the character and the personality. So I think whatever happens with Coady, whether he goes to Everton or not, I think he's been a fantastic servant for the club. And I think we should remember that, really. He's been, terrific, and he's been a huge part of how we've gone from where we were to kind of where we are now. In terms of should it be a loan, I mean, I think I get the argument about, he needs to go and play football to get in the World Cup squad. I mean, I would argue if he just go to the World Cup, it's not as a player, it's more as a squad man. He's kind of your team man, isn't he? And they kind of like that in the Euros, didn't they? I mean, he never kicked a ball, but then Steve Holland said, our man in the tournament was Conor Coady. So I wonder whether even if he wasn't playing regularly for us, whether they'd still take him in that kind of role. As you're not going to be playing for us, Conor, but we need you in the dressing room, driving the standards, keeping everyone on task, keeping everyone focused. So I wonder whether we're overthinking it and kind of going, he definitely needs to be playing football regularly. I'm not quite sure whether that's the case, whether he would be able to go to the World Cup anyway, even if he was kind of on our bench. But, it sounds like there's a 12 million option to buy, which seems
Do you think 12 million is enough for an England international centre-back that is that influential, that's 29, basically as a centre-back coming to the prime of his career? Is 12 million really enough for someone like that? How much did Harry Maguire go for? And how much better than Coady is he really?
Yeah, I mean, Maguire should never have been 80 million anyway, should he? But I agree. I don't think 12 million is good enough for us, really. But again, we can only go on what we're told and what happens. Whether there's been a conversation with Bruno and Conor, and he said, listen, you're not going to be first choice. We're not going to play a back three. Do you want to stay and be a sub and be the man behind the scenes driving it? Or do you want to go and play football? And I'd imagine, knowing Conor a little bit, that he'd want to go and play football. And you can't blame him. So it's one of those, isn't it? I think, again, go back to what I said, it's almost like the end of that chapter, isn't it? The Conor Coady era, if you like. He's been a real linchpin, if I can use that word, of the team, hasn't he, for 4 or 5 years. And if you think back to when he first signed, he was a central midfielder, did okay there, went to right back, did a job, but then they found that perfect spot for him as the sweeper in that back three. Unfortunately for him, probably more than anybody, that system's kind of become stagnant. And it changed from we played a back three to win games, and then we were playing a back three to not lose. And it became quite a defensive. And
you know what? That's a really, really good way of putting it. That's exactly how it kind of thing. He reverted to a back three. We all know that when Bruno came in, he wants to play a back four. We have got 6 centre-backs at the club, if you include Collins, Kilman, Coady, Bolle, Yerson, and then Totti Gomez. So that's where we have an abundance. I mean, my sources tell me that Conor's absolutely gutted. He wanted to see his career out at Wolves. That's what he wanted to do. But obviously, he can see that he's not going to be starting and win the World Cup. He needs to be playing. So Wolves, I think, because he's been with us for 7 years and he's been so inspirational as a captain for the club and as a person, as a human being. He's just such a great person that they want to do the right thing to support him in as well. So I think there's a little bit of that, isn't there? I do think, the 12 million seems a little bit low. I know someone said, well, he's 29, but it's a full fact that centre-backs don't really start hitting their peak until sort of 27, 28, 29, and they can play till like 34. So he's still got, Conor Coady would still think he's got 5 or 6 years left in his boots, wouldn't he?
Yeah, and I think the other thing to kind of say is you've got to look at it from Bruno's point of view. Now, Conor Coady's been such an important part of the team, captain, leader, everything. Now, at times last year, it felt a little bit like Bruno was kind of doing a Nuno tribute act. Yeah. Same system, same players, same style. Whereas now he's got an opportunity to really stamp his authority and say, Nuno was great for Wolves, but now I'm the man. And this is what this is how we're going to play. And this is what we're going to do. And if that means I have to move Conor Coady on, our captain, then that's what I'm going to do. And it's a really big decision for him to make. And there's no going back, is there? You know, once Conor Coady leaves Wolves, the back three is gone, I think. And it's back four all the way.
He can't go back to a back three if he lets Coady go. That's kind of it. I mean, this is my system. I'm sticking with it. You know, because if he then goes back to a back three and you've let Coady go, it's going to look a bit daft and a little bit stupid. I mean, he played the first 3 games last season, then switched to a back three, like he said, to stop losing. And in the end, he did. You know, he got us into a position. We faded out towards the end of the season. We had a real chance. But yeah, it's going to be real. It's going to be, you know, very, very sad. It's like a changing of the guard. I mean, Conor Coady seems key to the DNA of the club. He's always going to be welcome back at Wolves. He's going to be a Wolves legend for what he's achieved, how he's led the club and on and off the field. And I think he will also be a Wolf through and through. But he's as a footballer, he's got a short career, and at the end of the day, he wants to get into the England squad, but whether he's going to play much in that England squad again, we don't really know. So great to have your thoughts on that. Final from you, Jack. Netflix recommendations or TV shows that you like?
Netflix. I think you've probably watched Stranger Things, haven't you?
Yeah, love it.
Yeah. Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, watch that. All of it.
Right.
Love it.
Television programs. Have you watched Inside Number 9 on BBC?
I haven't seen that though.
Get on that. That's really good. That is really good. It's like an anthology comedy horror program. So every episode is different. So you don't kind of need to watch every one. You can kind of dip in and out. It's like half an hour, almost like a
little bit like
play.
Black Mirror, where you can. They're all individual things.
Yeah, it's the same people who did League of Gentlemen. If you've watched that, and it's kind of similar humour as well. So it's really good. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Jack, thank you very much for coming on and kicking off the show. It's great to have extra time back. It's great to have you back. Hopefully we'll catch up soon. We will be back with extra time for the Fulham game. I think there's a lot going to happen this week, mate. And to be honest, a lot needs to happen.
Yeah.
A lot needs to happen because, like, if they don't act, so, I mean, one of the international fans said 3 weeks to save our season, and I think that probably sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to know a lot more, aren't we, once that transfer window shuts.
Exactly right, mate. Cheers, Jack.
No problem. Take care, everyone.
Cheers. If you've enjoyed Jack's contribution, please smash a like on the video. Next up, we've got a debutant. We've got Wayne. Wayne, let us know where in the world you're watching. And
all right. Hi, Dave. Thanks for having me on. I'm in Melbourne, Australia. That's where I am.
In Melbourne, in Australia.
And it's 6:06 a.m. as we speak.
So, question is for you, Wayne. Is this a late night or an early morning?
I've been pretty much, Dave, up most of the night watching the football. I watched the West Ham Man City game, and yeah. The usual.
You get all the games over there.
Yeah, we're really lucky. We get Optus Sport, so it's my phone carrier, and for $6.99 you get every Premier League game, La Liga game, and many others.
What? $6.99.
$6.99 here, yes.
Is that $699 or $6?
No, that's $6.99 Australian.
And that's a legal thing.
Absolutely, David. That's that. So my mobile carrier,
Australian VPN, then, don't I?
Yeah, my mobile carrier is Optus, and for Optus subscribers, it's $6. It used to be free, David. They've just signed a new 6-year deal, so they're charging $6.99 for Optus subscribers. But prior to that, it was free with your mobile content. So there you go.
That's amazing. So you would have watched the game, your first match of the season. What did you make of it?
Look, to be honest, Dave, I thought we looked really good in patches. We played some really attractive football. But you know, the usual sort of thing. We still have problems putting the ball in the back of the net. Look, I've been very critical. You've seen my tweets and stuff, and to me, we're a team that are 2 or 3 players away from being a regular top 6 side. But if Fosun do not invest the money that is needed, look, I watched the Fulham-Liverpool game, and I've got to tell you, I'm worried about Fulham coming up. They look a very, very good side. And this, it doesn't surprise me that they absolutely bossed the Championship last season. Now, there is no reason they can't come to Wolves and turn us over. Now, if that happens, we then go away to Spurs. Now, if we start the season with 3 straight defeats, you know, it's not going to be the best of starts. And then what's it going to do in Bruno's mind? Is he still going to be thinking, oh, back 4? Yeah.
Well, that's what we were just talking about, wasn't it? I mean, the full Wolves form, actual form is we're on the longest winless run in the Premier League. It's now at 8 games. I think we've won 2 out of the last 15. So that run, okay. I know it was at the end of last season and all that, but we're in a new season now. But it's now at 8 games. We've got to start winning, and the fans won't forget that. So if he does run into 3 or 4 games at the start of the season, the pressure is going to be really starting to mount, because I don't think we can afford to lose the first 3 games like we did last season. And with the squad that we've currently got, come back. And
the thing is, David, I mean, we know what's going to happen. Let's say the unthinkable happens and we're winless after 5 games. We know who's going to suffer for that. There's only one person. That's going to be Bruno Lage. Now, I think it's fair to say, if the worst happened and Bruno Lage was to be moved on, I don't think there'd be any Wolves fan out there, realistically, that would be saying, well, he can't coach. He can't manage a team. The reality is this guy has not been given the backing that he deserves. And when we talk about transfers, David, it's not just this season. We have been crying out for an attacking midfielder to come in. We've been crying out for a centre-back that we finally have got now. This has been over 4 or 5 transfer windows. Now, maybe there is an issue with Fosun in China. Maybe whatever's going on over there, you know, affects how they can spend their money. But a little bit of transparency between the owners and the fans, you know, would put us at rest. I mean, look, Fosun, I think the last time I looked until they lost their money, I think they were worth 103 billion.
They're still worth a lot, haven't they? I mean, you know, individually, they're the individuals. I mean, the chairman, Gao, was over in Portugal. I was speaking to someone from the Wolves management team that Fosun have a lot of interests in Portugal, and we've just lost. Obviously, we've just lost him. He's just been cut off. Fosun have heard him criticising them, and they have cut him off the stream. So I'll just keep talking for a second to you guys in the chat, and hopefully we can get him back. But you know, the irony is he's just criticised Fosun, and then all of a sudden he's gone. Hold on, I think he's back. Wayne could be back.
I'm back, David. Sorry, I don't know what happened.
I think I know what happened, mate. You were criticising Fosun, and they've immediately cut you off.
Yeah, well, you're probably right, but yeah, I mean, you know the gist of it, David. I mean, look, hopefully this Guedes deal's over the thing, but I would like to say one thing on there. I don't know if you remember 2 or 3 seasons back. You remember Zinchenko was going to sign for Wolves?
Yeah. Well, they wanted to get him, but he wouldn't sign for us.
Well, he was booked in for a medical, David. He was actually booked in for a medical, and he didn't turn up.
Yeah, I remember something about that, yeah.
So, I mean, now apparently Guedes is booked in for a medical tomorrow. Let's hope he turns up and signs on the dotted line.
Well, yeah, I think Mendes has been a lot behind this. I think, to be honest, I do think the penny has dropped, that they've smelt the coffee, because you will know full well, if they don't invest and they don't get back Bruno now, and the results don't happen, it's not going to be Bruno that's going to get the bulk of the blame. It's going to be the board. It's going to be Jeff. It's going to be Scott Sellers.
Absolutely.
You know, because they haven't backed him, and all the fan base can see that. and it will turn very, very toxic, very, very fast. And the finger of point will be Scott and Jeff, who's a lovely guy, and Scott, I'm sure he's a nice guy as well. But they will be getting the bulk of the finger pointing, and the fans will
you know what, David? The thing is, I mean, obviously, I'm a lot older. I'm 59 now, and the last game that I saw, apart from when I've been back on a holiday, was when Wolves played Forest in the League Cup final in 1980. Now, I was a ball boy for Wolverhampton Wanderers in the 79-80 season. Wow. We were lucky enough. Yeah, we were lucky enough that the club gave us free tickets and paid for our journey to Wembley and back. But if you'd have told me that in 2022 that Wolverhampton Wanderers would not have made another final, back then when I was a 17-year-old, I would have laughed. So I feel privileged that I've actually seen us lift the cup. It's, in fact, shortly after we emigrated in 1980 is really when things started to turn sour for Wolves, didn't it? It's
your fault. You left and everything went belly up.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. Look, David, it doesn't matter what division you're playing in. Whether you're in League One or you're League Two, you still follow your team. But obviously, you want to be in the Premier League. And I mean, look, we're established now. We're 5 years back into it,
and we have to recognise that Fosun have done what they set out to do initially, and that's established in the Premier League. But we want to see them, take us the next step. Take
Absolutely.
us forward, and that's what we're waiting to see what will happen. So what's your performance rating, your man of the match for yesterday?
Well, I'm very much of the same opinion as the guy you had on before. I'd say around 7.
Yeah.
7 would be decent. But the one thing I want to say is a big shout out to a player I thought was a disaster signing, and that was Wang. I thought he looked really good yesterday.
Yeah, I thought he had a good. He looked sharp yesterday for someone that he looked like he got a point to prove, didn't he?
Well, yeah, I think so. But not only that, David. I think he's obviously not fit, and he didn't play many games, much time in pre-season. But I can actually see why other teams were looking at him. He's quick. He's actually quite skillful. So and look, a big chat. Yeah, and a big shout out to Fabio Silva, who's doing great on loan.
Do you know what, mate? It's like it had to happen. Fabio Silva, I thought personally, he didn't score much last year, but I thought he looked so much better, and he was a bit unlucky. And he just needed a goal, like a lot of strikers do. Once they get one, they're like Pringles. You can't stop. Once you pop, you can't stop. And he scored 3 goals in 4 games for Anderlecht. And he's left Wolves, and he's banging in the goals. Another good goal today.
Well, you know what all the fans are going to say, Dave, and this is where it really annoys me. And I've seen it so many times. Oh, it's only the Belgium league, or somebody's playing in the MLS. Oh, it's the MLS. It's League One standard. That is utter bollocks, my friend. I watch the MLS every week, and I can tell you, there are some very, very good players out there, and it is of a very high standard. And I'll tell you something now, don't be surprised in the World Cup if the USA give England a very tough game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, their league's getting stronger, isn't it? And they're investing in it as well. So you're giving a 7. And so your man of the match?
Man of the match for me would be Ruben, but a big shout out to Wang, who I actually thought was fantastic.
Brilliant. And also your thoughts on Morgan, Conor and Guedes?
Well, Guedes, I think, would be a fantastic signing. So let's just hope that gets over the line.
Yeah.
Morgan Gibbs-White, as you know, he's fallen out with the fans, and But look, he had a fantastic season with Sheffield United on loan last year. He looked brilliant. He's looked good in pre-season. It's like this. Look, David, if Bruno Lage wants him, if he is a big part of his plans going forward, and he's going to be a regular in this Wolves team, then we should not sell him. under any circumstances. If he's had a conversation with Bruno and Bruno says, look, you will be part of the team, but I can't guarantee you regular football. And of course, depending on how Morgan feels about Wolverhampton Wanderers these days, it's between those two. 40 million, if we got 40 million, like the guy said before, whether that's 30 million with 10 million add-ons, 35 with whatever it takes it to 40, it's decent money. But I'm not sure that I trust Fosun to reinvest that.
And I think that's the thing. It's like what Jack says. If he was chairman, if he's saying to Bruno, "Is this guy part of your plans? Is he key? Is he integral?" In which case, we'll say no to every bid. If he's not, and we can bring in a couple, 2 or 3 other players with the money to help you, then that's a different question. We don't know what the conversation's going. It seems to me that Bruno really, really likes Morgan. He's making a big effort to show him that he's valued. He even made him captain one of the games over in pre-season. So we'll wait to see how that pans out. Forest, I wasn't particularly worried about Forest, but then I watched Match of the Day, and they've lost a lot of people who had on loan. They brought people in. It could be a bit like a Fulham for there, where they've got a hodgepodge of loads of people coming in.
I said that to my friend. I said that exactly to my friend. It's a lot of players to bed in 12.
Well, exactly, and that's the thing. They didn't impress me that much against Newcastle, and they've had a lot of changes. And when a team's had a lot of changes and they're coming up into the Premier League, there's like Fulham have got that momentum, haven't they? I mean, Forest have got the momentum, but they've lost a lot of their team, and then they've brought in. So I'm not sure, which is probably why they're desperate to try and get like Morgan in, because they need that midfield attacking forward play with Morgan and Lingard and who they've got up front. So it'd be interesting to see how that one pans out. And your thoughts on Coady?
Look, I'm a big fan of Conor Coady. I think he's been a fantastic footballer. Has he got his flaws? Absolutely. But, like you were talking, if I look in comparison, I look at Harry Maguire, 80 million. And I look
how can Conor Coady be worth just 12 million and Harry?
David, if they sell him for 12 million, all right, I'm going to say it's shameful. The guy we should be looking at no less 25 million, as far as I'm concerned. He's an England international, for Christ's sake. He's a fantastic leader. He's a fantastic captain. Do you know what it reminds me of, David? It reminds me very much of when we won the championship. Okay, and we had Danny Barr as captain. But you could just see, we all knew he wasn't good. He was a Premier League standard, but he was a great club man.
Oh, yeah.
In came Coady. This is similar. It's not similar in the sense that Coady is, of course, Premier League level. But obviously Bruno Lage has looked at it and thought, well, I want to play a back four. Now, this is what annoys me. How do we know that Coady couldn't play a back four? Do we really know that he couldn't play a back four, Dave? Has he really ever been tried out in that position? We've never really done it.
Well, he has played back four for Wolves. He's also played back four for England. Okay, but he hasn't really been tested against the highest opposition. And I think that's
exactly.
I think that where Bruno's coming from, he wants to play a four. I think Kilman's our best defender.
Absolutely. Kilman's fantastic.
Yeah, and I think he will probably play for England at some point. He's got everything, hasn't he? And when we lost him last season, I know we had a number of injuries, but that's when we started leaking in the goals. And they've spent 20 million on Collins. Who are you going to play in a back four? But
yeah. But what happens, David, if he decides that for 4 or 5 games he has to go back to a back five? What do we do then?
That's the key. What we were talking about. What if he does have to go back for that? And then I know Bolly can play in the centre of a back. But
he's not a leader, is he, David?
He's quiet compared to that. But Collins is. Collins is quite quiet off the pitch. I was there yesterday and he was doing a lot of talking. He does a lot of talking. It's not like Conor. You can hear Conor all the time talking. That's how he is. But if we did go back to a back five, then obviously, it's kind of like letting the horse go and bolting the door afterwards. But we'll have to wait and see. But interesting points on that. And finally, favourite TV programmes or TV show recommendations?
Well, at the moment on Netflix, I'm a big fan of Virgin River.
Right, not seen that.
You've seen it? No?
I'm not. Don't know what it's about.
And a Spanish show, but it's in English, is Money Heist.
Oh, fantastic show. Seen all of it.
You've seen that?
Yeah, brilliant.
You love that? Yeah. And of course, I'm a bit old school, David, so I really do like the new series of Dynasty.
Oh, right, okay. Da, da, da.
You see, I'm a bit of a softie at heart. I may come across on Twitter as a little bit negative or whatever, but you know, I'm really not. I do give some plaudits when we deserve it, but I will be critical when I also think we deserve it.
Well, that's what it is, and you can in the right way. Wayne, it's been an absolute pleasure making your debut. I hope you'll come on again. I
absolutely will, David. And look, a big shout out to you and the guys on there for having me on. I really didn't think you would, to be honest.
Also, well, no, absolutely. The thing is, mate, you know, football is a game of opinions. You know, we love our club. At the end of the day, we all love Wolves. We're all Wolves fans. It doesn't matter that you're over in Melbourne. You're like committed. Which is why I do the international fan reaction, because we've got fans all over the world getting up early morning.
Just before this is what people need to realise, that I was standing in the South Bank throughout the whole of the 70s. I find it hard. I can't stand in the South Bank now because I'm just a little bit further away.
Yeah.
But I'm still there watching every single game, you know, and of course, you know, absolutely, Dave. I mean, I've got the new Wolves shirt, I've got the away shirt, you know, Dave. We're the same. We're just a little bit overseas.
Football's a game of opinions, and that's why I said, look, just come on. As long as you don't F and blind, because a lot of watch and stuff like that. This is a show, Extra Time, about people having their opinions. I'll push back, ask the questions, and you can put your view across, and that's what we want. That creates the debate. So thank you for coming on, and of course, you're welcome back at any time.
I will hold you to that one, David.
You better have. See you, mate.
Cheerio, mate. Cheerio. Bye-bye.
Cheers. That's Wayne making his debut all the way over there in Melbourne. Absolutely a pleasure to have him on. And we do, we got here Lucy saying, please come back on. Great contribution, Wayne. Race should be on the IFR. And I do want to say, if you've seen all these people that have got little wolf heads next to their name, that's because they're a member. They're on our Discord group. So if you do fancy becoming a member, there's 4 different levels. It helps support the channel, and we have a great community. So we have a members Discord group that we talk on in between games. So you're welcome to come on. So next up, a young lad making his debut as well. From the Instagram crowd. Hello, Callum.
You're right, Dave. How you doing, mate? Good.
Absolutely fantastic to have you join Extra Time, powered by Wolf Life. So whereabouts in the world are you from, Callum?
I'm from Leamington Spa, Whitnash, Warwickshire.
Leamington Spa. It's a bit posh there, isn't it?
In the Midlands, yeah, I'd probably say.
And so how are you supporting Wolves from Leamington Spa? Give us the backstory.
My dad and my brother, they're boyhood Wolves fans. Even though my whole family are United fans, I've always gone down that route.
So you're not a glory hunter then?
No,
Glory Man United, that went out 10 years ago, didn't it?
It did.
We've got lots of people saying hello to you here. Lucy's saying hi, Callum. We've got Carl saying hi, Charlie, hi as well. So lots of people welcoming you to the channel. It's great to have you on, mate. So thank you for coming on. You're 18, correct?
I am indeed.
Fantastic. And did you watch the match yesterday?
I did, yeah.
Were you there, or were you watching it on a stream?
I wasn't there. The only reason being, I had my theory test in the morning. And
driving.
Yeah, I got a bit unlucky. I failed by 1 mark.
Oh, mate, I'll tell you what, I got really lucky when I had my theory test. I was rubbish. I couldn't, not my theory test, my actual practical. I was absolutely rubbish. I could never reverse round a corner. Yeah. And on my actual test, as I was reversing around a corner, I must have been a brick, and it made me jolt, and I did a perfect round the corner, and I passed first time. But most people pass second time, so don't worry, Callum.
Yeah, that's it. That's why I was a bit annoyed after the game. I thought Wolves might cheer me up, but then a bit of a bad day overall, but we moved.
And so where in the Molyneux do you normally go?
Usually North Bank if I get a ticket.
Upper or lower?
Upper probably. Usually.
Yeah, we're down in the low. But you how did you watch it on a stream yesterday then?
No, I just watched it on Fire Stick.
On Fire Stick. That's where you get all the matches and
yeah, got it all on there.
We won't go. Yeah, but fantastic. Yeah. So, what did you make of the game?
I thought at the start of the first half and the start of the second half, I thought we looked quite bright, but we just slowly dipped throughout the game going on. A few individual performances which I was a bit surprised on. Nori, I thought he had a quality pre-season, but yesterday he just looked a bit. He didn't look on it. You know what I mean? His awareness wasn't there. So yeah, overall, first half, second half, start of it was fine, but then we just slowly dipped.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it was a dream start with Pedence. I mean, I thought he scored it. He didn't hit it how he wanted to, but it just about went in, which was a great start. Then Leeds came back. I thought they bullied us off the ball quite a lot. You know, they were closing down. We started giving the ball away, and that goal came. Dendoncker having an absolute golden chance. If he'd have dinked it, he literally tried to pass it in the net. All he had to do was lift it about half a foot, and it was an open goal. The keeper had gone that way. If he'd dinked it that way, it was a certain goal. But he's not a goal scorer, is he, as such? And then we came out in the second half, and for 35 minutes, it was comfortable, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, mate. I say, with that Dendoncker chance, I think we're using him more as a box-to-box now. I've been crying out for a box-to-box midfielder for a few years now. It's just, we need someone like Nunez to get in the box. We're using Dendoncker in that role too much, but I just don't see him as that, you know what I mean? I think he should have scored that 100%, but it was the wrong choice to try and place it.
It was definitely a really good opportunity. And obviously, the second goal happened because we didn't take our chances again, and then we end up again losing the game. So who impressed you as your man of the match?
Oh, Neves. I thought Neves, his passing was sublime, I think, yesterday.
And obviously he stepped up to being the captain, and no doubt if Conor does go, he will become the club captain as well, won't he?
Yeah, he will.
And your performance rating?
Performance rating, there were some good sparks, I have to say. I'd probably say a 7. If we know how to finish, we'd be fine. But it's just our end product just isn't there, and that's why Leeds had it against us.
I know, mate. It was just like Wolves again from last season, not finishing when we were on top for such a long, not getting that killer blow. And we used to have a really good record of scoring first and not losing games, and that seems to have gone as well, doesn't it? You know, in the last sort of 6 months or so. But hey, it happens. Talking about the transfers, what are your views on Morgan and Conor Coady?
I think it's essential to keep Gibbs-White. I think no matter what price, I think we need to saying like, right, he's not for sale. I think he has changed that midfield, and he's sort of gone into like a versatile role. I see him drifting out to the right sometimes. He's creating a lot of chances.
I think that Morgan.
Yeah, Morgan. With Sheffield United, I thought that was a perfect loan for him. You know, we recalled him midway through the season when he was with Swansea. I thought he was quite good at Swansea. Yeah. And Swansea saying, we're so disappointed for him to come back. We didn't have the squad at the time. You know, we had to call him back. But I'm happy he's had a full season out on loan, but I don't want him to go anywhere. He's vital for the future. So
you wouldn't, if you were Bruno, you'd be telling Jeff, no, we're keeping him, whatever. Conor Coady?
The thing is with Conor, I mean, I've always loved him. You know, I agree with what Roy Keane says. You know, he says about characters. He says it's not just all about quality on the pitch. As much as Conor's got it, you need a good character in the dressing room to get that sort of energy. You know what I mean, before a game, and he's got that. You know, you see the open trainings. He's always having a laugh with the lads, and that's what you want. You want a good character in the dressing room. So I think if we lose him, that won't be good. So, and as soon as 12 million, you know, for a guy in his prime, he's an England international. You know, I agree with Wayne. 25 million at least we should be selling him for.
Well, I think 12 million would be incredibly low for someone at 29 who's still got quite a long contract, from what I understand, and he is an England international and he's English. Normally, when he's an English player, there's an actual extra amount put on top.
Yeah.
And Harry Maguire can go for 80 million. He might be generally classed as a better centre back, but I don't see that he's that much better than Conor. And if he is, if Conor's half the player of Harry Maguire, it should be 40 million. So when you turn around and say 2025, I think that's reasonable. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. It looks as if he's going to go on loan with an option to buy, and we'll have to see what that's going to happen. But if he does go, of course, we'll be wishing Conor all the best. It would be a sad day, to be honest, because I thought he was going to. Conor's gutted, but Bruno's obviously got to do what Bruno wants to bring the team that he wants. And, you don't bring a £20 million defender in and leave Kilman out, who's probably our best defender. So there is an argument, but Conor is a great squad player, and Wolves have been great for Conor. They've turned him into this England international by playing him there, and he's been a good servant. So, we'll have to wait and see. Geddes, looks like that's happening.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say I know too much about him. You know what I mean? I've heard he's versatile. I've heard he can play on the left mid or the left wing, right wing. He can play up front as a lone striker. I think he's quite good at passing, so you can have a go at him in number 10. He's got options. We need that sort of striker who's, I'm not sure about, I think he's a good player to have for squad depth, but I think we still need a target man. I think to cross the balls into, to head him in.
100%, mate. 100%. That's Bellini, isn't it? Or whatever his name is. Bellotti from Torino. He scares me. He does. He's like a Mitrovic type of striker, isn't he? But that's where you have to miss someone like that.
Yeah, that's it. We just need someone to bang in goals. I was looking at other strikers like the Blackburn one, Ben Burton Diaz. He was insane for Blackburn last season. You know what I mean? But as long as he knows where the net is, and that's what we need to do. We just need somebody who's good in front of goal, because we're lacking that at the moment.
Yeah, Neil's made a point as well. We've been linked with him. I think a striker will happen. We need one. I think Fabio will come back an even better player. But Wolves have been sensible and extended his contract by 2 years as well, because they obviously want to get the value. But he's starting to bang in the goals, and hopefully he'll come back even better for us next year. So we need that backup striker. So your thoughts on that? Any recommendations for the people out there, Netflix or anything like that you like to watch?
You know what? Even though I'm a young lad, I don't actually watch Netflix that often. So I'll just go a TV program that always used to cheer me up. It's In Between Us.
It's funny, that is, isn't it?
Just always cheers me up, you know what I mean? But if I was going to watch a TV program or like a small series, if anyone's watched it yet, was Anne. The Hillsborough disaster.
Yeah.
That was very good to watch. So
fantastic, mate. Have you enjoyed your debut?
I have, mate. Cheers for having me on. I'm chuffed with it.
No, anytime you want to come on and have an opinion, mate, just drop us a thing on Instagram. Just say I'm up for the show, and I'll just send you the link. But well done on making your debut. You made some great points, and it's been brilliant having you on.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Appreciate it.
Nice one. I'll see you in the North Bank, probably.
Yes, in North Bank. Have a good one now. See you, man.
Bye. Oops, Sam made a sneaky appearance for a second there. But yeah, no, that's great to have Callum. We've had a few debutants on there as well, so that's fantastic. And we've got another debutant coming on next. Chris, how you doing?
Hello, Dave. How you doing?
Fat mate, you are proper. You look. All we need now is a football stadium back, and you could.
Yeah, I've got the old headset on. Yeah,
he's going round with what you call. We're going over now.
I didn't see him, Jeff. I didn't see him go off, Jeff.
Exactly. You've perfectly set up, Chris. Brilliant, mate. You're writing for the website as well.
Yeah, I did the first one on the transfer window, which wasn't that big because there hasn't been much activity. But
mate,
maybe there'll be a second window coming up.
You're going to have your work cut out, I think, for the rest of the transfer window. By the sounds of it, let's hope anyway.
Yeah, it's. I'm hoping it's going to be a bit busier. It needs to.
Loads of people are welcoming you, mate.
Yeah.
All your fellow members as well. Chris,
no, it needs to be busy, mate. It's been dire, the transfer window. It's in a confusing window, really. I'm really confused that we have moved to a back four and we think we're going to be pushing Conor Coady out. I'm not convinced back four is the answer. And as the guys and Wayne was saying, you know, if we're not going to back five, then you want Conor Coady there.
Yeah, I mean, why are you confused? Because I'm not confused as why. Because Bruno Lage has always played with a back four. He was brought in to play the attacking football. He didn't have the personnel last year. They've bought this centre back, which we've been wanting because we pretty much had the same defence since the Championship. He was always going to switch to a back four.
I think I'm confused because if anybody understands what happened on Saturday with our fullbacks, fullbacks now, not wing backs. The first two things I bought this season were two fullbacks that can defend, and we haven't done it. So we're now playing attacking wing backs as fullbacks, and I just think it's going to be a continual theme. We're going to get hammered down the wings, and I only think the only one we've got in our team that can tackle is probably Johnny.
Otto, yeah. Semedo did well last year, though.
Semedo possibly, but I think he's still more attacking. But I think he's played in a back four for Portugal. But I'm really worried about Aït-Nouri. He's a great attacking wing back. Maybe we could turn him into a winger, but he can't defend, and it's taken one game for it to be found out. Everybody will be just going down the right hand wing now.
Well, yeah, I mean, he didn't have his best game, that's for sure. But I think the jury's out. We've got to give him anyone can have one bad game.
It's not the bad game today, but
3 or 4 or 5 games that it's happening, and we'll only know that from the games, won't we?
Yeah, I think so. But it's not the fact it's a bad game. It's the way he approaches the play at that position. He overruns the ball, he attacks. Great going forward. All I see is ocean space behind him after he's lost the ball, marauding forward again, and I just think it's a weak point
where we could get exposed. So, I mean, who impressed you yesterday, and who's your man of the match?
I agree with you. Actually, I thought it was probably a good game from Wang. My man of the match was not Neves. I gave it to Neto just for that thank you goodbye moment he did in the corner.
Where he took 2 out.
Yeah, it was fantastic. That just missed it. All that was missing was a little touch to the right and a smash in the net. That would have been a wonder goal, But I thought it was good to see Neto getting back to really where he was maybe a while ago, and he's not been there.
No, it's exciting to see, isn't it?
I thought Neves had a good game. I thought Collins and Kilman in the end, nothing was, it's a shame we're not going to be playing Burnley this season because they just were heading the ball away and they were quite dominant, I thought.
And I think that's why he decided to pair them, because I think they're both very young. They're both strong in the air. They're both technically quite good centre backs. I mean, we saw Kilman again do one of his little runs as well in the first half. And they're going to probably develop, hopefully, as long as they both stay fit, a very good understanding as the more games that they're playing. Hopefully that'll come. So you're giving it to Neto. What about your performance rating?
I'm a bit more stingy. I'm going to put it down as a 6. I don't think we dominated a full half. I think we did 20 minutes where we looked really comfortable in the second half. But I don't think we played well enough as a team. Long enough to get a 7. I thought 6.
Fair comment.
6 for me.
Fair comment, Chris. And obviously, you talked about the transfer. You wrote the article. Thank you very much for volunteering to be one of the Always Wolves Fan TV writers for the new website. And if you've not seen the website, guys, the new website is fantastic. If I say so myself. It's alwayswolves.co.uk. Get on that. get on the make sure that you register on the newsletter, because there'll be stuff and competitions coming on that. And we've got so many great writers. Chris wrote an article as well. And if you do want to get involved with writing for alwayswolves.co.uk as well, just message Always Wolves admin at alwayswolves.co.uk, and Emma will get in touch about that. But Chris, thank you for your first article, but the website, and thanks Emma for doing a great job on it. Absolutely brilliant. Transfer window then again. Morgan, Coady,
Morgan. Trying not to let my previous feelings about Morgan sway me a little bit. I'll ask you a question, Dave. Do you think Morgan Gibbs-White can be a £100 million footballer?
Do I think he can be?
Yeah.
Personally, it's hard to say. He's young still. There is a potential opportunity that he could be. I mean, for anyone to be 100 million, they've got to be exceptional. I mean, like Jack Grealish. So I don't know. I think he could get up to about 70 or 80 million if he has the right moves, but you just don't know, do you? It's how he does in the Premier League.
I don't think it would. I think if we can get £40 million for him,
I do think £40 million would be probably enough for most. I mean, I did that poll, didn't I?
Yeah, yeah. You could see from the poll it was 60% of the people, I think, really would accept him to be sold.
The majority of those that said no would probably come round to it if they bought in the reinforcements. Yeah, I think it'd be sad because I think he's got potential, but there comes a point where you think 40 million, you know, who would we rather lose, Morgan or Neves?
Yeah, definitely. And is he really any different than Neto, Podence? You know, is he going to give us anything really different?
I think he is a little bit different. I think he plays a lot of balls in between the channels. I think he's got a lot about him. I think he does give us a little bit of different option. But if we're bringing in Guedes, then that would probably compensate for that, and then we get a striker in as well. So you know, it could work out. We'll have to wait and see. What's your thoughts on Conor?
I don't want Conor to go, actually. I think it's premature. I think we haven't really proved that we should play as a back four. I think it would be foolish to let him go and then revert back to where we were, because I think if we start taking some bad results, I think Bruno will revert to a back five because he'll play it safe. He'll have to. I think we haven't got the luxury of being able to fundamentally change a team, and we do something fantastic in the transfer window in the next few weeks. We just don't have a different style, a different setup. We don't have the numbers, so he's only really got to revert to back five and stop the goals going in. I think I don't particularly want Conor to go. I think is the way he's performed as a captain's been outstanding. He reminds me so much of my hero when I started watching Wolves, which was Emily News. Yeah, he's exactly the same. A little story about Emily News. I went to see him play a game very early on as a young boy, and we had the old alleyway down the side of the South Bank. I ran down there because the players used to walk from the cars down into the old Waterloo Road stand. I ran down there chasing Emily Hughes for a signature. I got him and I said, "Mr. Hughes, can I have a signature?" And he looked at me and he said, "Oh, what's your name?" I told him Chris, and he said, and he wrote in my thing. He said, "I don't want your." I said, "You don't want my signature, Chris." He said, "I want yours." Sign your name here. And he signed this bit of paper. I signed this bit of paper. He took it off me, put it in his pocket, and walked off. Made me feel like £1 million. He did. He was brilliant. And that's the sort of thing that I see Conor do. He did that little article on the Wolves page when he talked to the lad who was being bullied at school, and it just rang with me. I thought, crikey, this is a guy that we've got to, keep in around the clubs. I don't particularly want him to go. I think he needs to stay.
You make a good point. What would you say though? Like, if you're Bruno Lage, and obviously you are playing a back four, and Conor's going, I don't really want to be sat around waiting. You know, I've got England. I need to be playing. If I don't go and play, then I'm probably not going to get in the England squad. Could you understand his point?
I do, but what's to say he can't play in the back four? We mentioned already. Why can't he play in the back four for Wolves? If he's going to play in the back four for England, why can't he play in the back four for Wolves?
I think he could play in the back four, and I think his article and what he said in his interview was he's learning new things. But when you've got, who are you going to drop? Who are you going to replace out of Kilman and Collins?
Well,
For
at the moment you won't, because that's who he's chosen. You know, he's not gonna not play his new signing, is he? And
You've got a backer here anyway. Jordan, he says he's a Leeds fan. Getting rid of Coady would be a huge mistake. If you had played a back five, I feel we'd have struggled. Good luck with the rest of the season. Fair comment.
Well,
He's agreeing with you.
Yeah, it was a safe formation. What we played last year was a safe formation. I know it wasn't inspiring, and I know we didn't, rip the goals off every week, but it was safe. You were always going to be in a match. I'm not quite sure I feel like that about that at the moment. I mean, they may go on and prove to me differently, but I don't think we've got the plethora of people up front that we can rotate in and out for a back four attacking formation. It was the subs. We haven't talked much about the subs tonight, but we've got nobody.
Well, you make such an important point there, Chris. There was a stat yesterday that I read, and a tweet.
I saw it.
It was 5-5-5-4, 3-3-3-3, and then one substitution. Yep. Everyone else made at least 3 subs. We made 1, and I tell you what, Leeds made 4 subs. They had more energy, legs. And then he replaced Wang on 85 minutes with Chem Campbell, who was number 77. Came on for 5 minutes. Wang had only played 25 minutes pre-season. Really, he was gone from about 70 minutes, really. Mm-hmm. He's saying, well, look what I've got on the bench. Okay, you got Luke Cundle, you've got Ronan. He could have done something, but we had nothing forward areas really, other than Chem Campbell for him to bring on.
And this is one of the things that annoys me about Bruno a little bit. He didn't use his subs well last year, and actually Leeds last year we put no legs on, and they steamrolled us in the last 20 minutes and come back and beat us at Molin, if you remember that 3-2 bloody reversal we had, and he seemed to always make a sub on 70 minutes, and just for making a sub. I don't think we've ever used subs properly under Bruno. I think one game we made some changes and they came off, but I know he's got nobody to bring on, but he selected them. He's got them on the bench there, so surely he can see that Wang's actually gone, and you can bring somebody on and you can fresh legs. It's strange. I don't know why unless he's making a point to the owners, unless he's saying, look, this is what I've got.
I think some of his interviews and what he said, and I think they are moving. I mean, moving on to Guedes looks like it's going to happen. Are you excited about him?
No.
Tell me why.
Is he different to Neto? Is he different to Podence? I'm not so sure. I mean, I know we've been following him for a long while. He's not the striker everybody's saying they think.
No, he's not a striker. He can play in striker. I think he can also play at the front of the midfield in that ball-running midfield role. He knows where he can shoot, though. He knows where a goal is.
Yeah,
he gets a lot of assists, lots of goals.
He's got he's got a bit of a cannon foot on him from the clips I've seen and when I've watched him. I mean, I think he's more like Jota than anybody else. So if we lost him,
well, if we can get another Jota, that won't be bad, will it?
No. But I'm not overexcited. My thoughts are primary concerns are we should be getting a striker and we should be getting some.
I think that striker will come. I think it's going to happen.
It has
to happen. There's no ifs or buts. It has to happen.
It's been like this 2 years, Dave. Really, with striker, it's
I know.
The Fabio thing as well. I mean, Fabio, I'm glad he's scoring. If he scores enough that makes somebody want to pay 35 million for him next summer, I think we should get the 35 mil. You know, I'm not a big fan of his, but I don't think
You
he's
know,
going
I think Fabio will come good. I say this, and he's like the guy's 18, he's 19. It's not his fault that there's 35 million. Steve Bull was paying for Tipton Harriers when he was his age, and who else was going to be? Jimenez hasn't even played a first team game for anyone in Mexico, so he's like, you know, and he's so much further along in his development than both of those, and they ended up, you know, Raul has become a fan favourite. Bully's a legend. So if he goes away and comes back,
go that way.
It could
go that way.
I'm always looking on the hopeful side.
Positive,
You're a little bit more cynical than me, Chris.
Yeah,
but I love it, mate. I love it. Absolutely love it.
I think if it goes away, Morgan's loaners, and he you know, tears it up, and it comes back guy, then it's worth. The one I'm really interested to try and see, but I don't think we're going to bring him back, is this Campana. When I've seen him play in America, he's been brilliant.
Yes, a few people have mentioned that because the season ends, so they can bring him back, can't they? So it'll be interesting to see whether they do that.
And he's a proper striker.
Who's he playing for at the moment?
God, not DC. I can't remember. They wear pink.
But he's been banging in the goals.
But he's scored some cracking goals.
Yeah, it's been mentioned. Chris, to finish on, favourite TV show or recommendations, Netflix shows if you watch Netflix?
It's not Netflix. The thing I'm really looking forward to is this new Lord of the Rings series. That's on.
I love Lord of the Rings, mate.
But the series starts on the 2nd of September, so I'm looking forward to that. There's another one that I've been watching on Netflix called The Sandman.
Yeah,
and I described that really much like Harry Potter for grown-ups.
Ah, right.
It's a good game, good program. So that's quite good. Miami it is. I've just remembered.
Yeah, into Miami. Yeah, Carl the Stato has picked that up. Paul Harris has corrected me. Tipton Town, not Tipton Harriers. Chris, fantastic having you making your debut. I hope you'll come on again.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. I'll see you at the quiz. There's a quiz coming up in a few weeks' time, isn't it?
Yeah, you're in Always Wolves B team, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in the B team.
That's fantastic. Well, we've got 2 teams entered into that now.
Yeah. The B team's a place to be, I heard.
Yeah, well, exactly. You'll be replaced. You'll be like itching to get on and get in the A team, and replace all of us lot and take over the channel and everything.
I've had a special word with the quiz master, so we'll be okay.
Nice one. I look forward to that, Chris, because we can share a drink as well. It'd be nice.
Yeah, no problem.
Top man, and thanks for supporting the channel as well, mate, and doing what you do. It's much appreciated.
No problem. And maybe bump into you on Saturday, and let's hope it's not the horror show that some people are thinking it's going to be. But
keep the faith.
Yeah, always Wolves.
Always Wolves, mate. Thanks, Chris.
Bye-bye. Bye.
So that's Chris with his views, and we've got a final one coming up now. He's back. Our final caller today. It is Sam. How you doing? And you've got a giant Conor Coady, and you've got a reverse Everton logo, and you look ever so tiny. You're on mute, Sam.
Does that come back now? Yeah, sorry, that was me. Yeah, the reverse. It wouldn't flip in time for the show, so I've just left it. All I can say is, everybody, let's set up a Just Give Him page. Let's buy Conor Coady ourselves and keep the lad, because I don't want to see him going. And by the way, yes, he can play in a back four. He's done it for us and he's done it for England. And Everton play a back four. Come on.
Do they play a back four?
Well, they move, don't they? 3, 5, 4, and they move it during the game. You have a look what our dear friend up there, Lampard, said about him. He wants him as another player to keep his dressing room intact, but that's beside the point. Couple of things to pick on.
Yeah.
Jack, you mentioned earlier, Largay being a manager. No, he's not. He's a head coach. Please get this right, fans. He does not have a say fully in what players we get in. Mendes, Jeff Shee, and the CEO of Fossen do. Fosun bought the club to run as a business. Simple as. Okay, that's it. I'm finishing with that. Coady, 150 games for Wolves. Okay, 150 games. The guy
Cody's
can
played
play.
more than 150 games. He's played over 300 games, hasn't he?
He's played 150 games, full games for us since he started. I think, if I'm not right. Otherwise, somebody's told me the wrong info tonight. But if it's 300,
Yeah,
he's been with us.
Premier League appearances, maybe.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. If he's been with us 5 years, okay, why are we shipping him out at 29? Why are we sending him to a rival club that probably this season, and I am doom and gloom here, the way I feel at the moment is a relegation battle looks looming, because I don't see, as Chris didn't, Geddes, I don't think it's the player we think he is. I've seen him play, and we've got better still at the club. So that's that one. Morgan Gibbs-White, 40 million. I'd let him go. I don't want him to go, because at the moment I think that's where the goals are going to come from. I think he's coming good, but I'd like to see Fabio Silva call back. I'd like to see Fabio and Morgan Gibbs-White up front with our other players when Jimenez is back behind them. Neves, Neto, all feeding through. I think it'll work. You were only just behind me at the game on Saturday.
Yeah.
The corners that Gibbs-White would take were pin accurate to the middle of the box. Every one he took. Okay. Nouri's been mentioned. I think he had a mare of a game. I don't rate the bloke. I never have. I don't rate him. Man of the match. I'm trying to cover this off quickly. Conor Coady for coming and waving to us afterwards. And basically, he was saying his goodbyes. He knows he's going, doesn't he? But on the pitch, I've got to give it to Gibbs-White.
Do you know what? On my man of the match, I don't know if you've watched my reaction. I actually said Gibbs-White, but I went with Neves. Yeah. I thought Morgan had a really good game. He had 2 passes that were outside of the boot, pinned over, fantastic passes. Yeah. He's got a lot of skill. He's got such a lot of skill. And it's clear that Bruno Lage wants him as part of his team. He gave him the captain's armband on thingy. He's put his arm around him. But there comes a point, I'm guessing, when if you get a £40 million bid, then like what Jack said earlier, if Bruno is saying he's integral to my team, I need him, he's got to stay, then they've got to reject the bid. If Bruno turns around and says, well, then
the problem we've got is Bruno isn't having the say in it, is he? He's been another Nuno, unfortunately, and there's going to be a falling out in the back rooms. It'll happen.
To be fair, he needs to have more of a say. He needs to be saying, because it's his on the line. But all the fans can now see, and they're seeing. I mean, we're not bashing Fosun as such, because they've done such a great job for Wolves getting us to this point. And they've got to this point, and the fans have been quite patient over the last 2 years, understanding the pandemic and all of that sort of point. And now we've got to sort of like a crossroads, whereas, you've got this ambition. If you brought in Bruno, you've got to back him to be able to play the system that he wants and bring in the players. And the fans have got a little bit frustrated, because they're just thinking, we've got injuries happening. We've got players that we're sending out on loan. We've got players that we're selling and have let go. And we've got this ever decreasing squad that's getting smaller and smaller. And then you look on the bench and you've got, no disrespect to them, some talented youngsters that we have definitely got.
I was just going to make the point.
You can't put all 5 youngsters on. You can bed 1 or 2. At certain points, but you can't just put them all in. And when you're looking at the bench, and the Coady sitting there with a bunch of under 23s. Yeah,
we had 12. If you don't count Sarr, we had 12 tried and tested players in the team and on the subs. 5 were youngsters out of the under 23 squad that have had the odd 5 and 10 minutes here. And they've played a few games in pre-season. They're not tried and tested. We've got nobody. We've got so many injuries at the club at the moment. I don't know. I've just reading a couple of comments. Adrian Richards, I'm not a Bruno fan. I'll just tell you that now. I didn't rate him when he was at Benfica. I don't rate him at Wolves.
Yeah, so that's that comment there that Adrian
said. I'd quite happily see him go and bring somebody in that is a Premier League British manager that knows the clubs that are playing this country. He's had a year with us now, and we're playing the same Nuno squad. We've been playing the same style of football. We've gone 15 games without a result. And
we have had 2 wins in there. We've gone 8 games. We're on the longest winless streak in the Premier League. 8 games, but we've won 2 out of 15. So the form is currently okay. We're in a new season, but the form over the last 15 games has not been great.
No, but as to Bruno and what Adrian said there, the fact that he didn't make a substitution till very late in the game is telling me he's got no confidence in what he has got.
Or was he making a point? Was he making a point?
He was, because Jeff Shee was there.
In his press conference, I look at the bench, I've got no one to bring on, really. I thought if he was going to bring Chem Campbell on for Wang, he should have done it on 70 minutes, because Wang was done.
Have been earlier. Yeah.
By 70 minutes.
The point is then, why did he pick those substitutes if he says he's got nothing on the bench to bring on? That was his decision to pick the team. So this is why I'm saying there are other players in that youth team that have been playing well. Why has he picked those 5? He's got to have some confidence in the players, but then not to use them. I see it as no confidence on the day. I'm getting confused with the guy. I don't think he has got his style and the team sorted in his own mind when he trains them in the week.
Sam, when you, and obviously I'm going to play devil's advocate because that's my job, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, as the host, I've got to do this. But then you see the 25, 30 minutes we played after half time. We were in so much in control. We weren't, we were just like, they didn't even get a sniff, Leeds, for that
we couldn't finish anything. That's the problem.
That is the problem.
Jota was the first mistake that Fosun made, letting him go. That was the biggest mistake we made. And then we followed them up systematically. Traore, what's happened to him?
But if you've got Liverpool calling and the player wants to go and they're going to get 45 million for a player that was sitting on the bench for most of last season,
But what was Jota's motivation? Money. But this is where we've got a problem. We've set this ceiling limit of £100,000 a week for the players. So he goes up to Liverpool and he doubles what he's getting from us.
Yeah, but Liverpool have so much more financial clout than what Wolves do because they've got a bigger global fan base. They've got bigger stadium. They've got more revenue coming in. They can pay bigger wages. And to be honest, I've got to be honest, Sam. I want you to help me put together a video clips of me scoring brilliant goals and Peter the Skill, so I can con some Premier League club into hiring me for a week, so I can get 50 to 100,000 pounds, and then realise that I'm absolutely not very good, or I can get injured on my first day of training and do that.
Brilliant. Well, I'll make you laugh. I'm 56 next week. I've just been signed.
Signed by who?
I'm playing for one of the Wolves teams.
That'll
make you all laugh. I can't say on here because we're not allowed to.
No,
it's not the over 50s. I'm training with them each week. I'm doing all sorts of them. I'm loving it. So it's a good bit of fun.
You need to get me. I'm decent, mate. So I'd like to, I've got decent. I am.
Yeah, well, come and join
us. I
us.
play 5-a-side every week.
That's what I was doing.
I'm not a bad player.
My light's gone on.
You can tell your manager to look out for Dazzling Dave. I'm not signed by anyone at the moment.
There
I'm a
you
free
go,
agent.
Then. Free agent. Well, you have to get signed up, so come down and see us. I'll talk to you about it.
Is that down at the Dome?
Yeah, it's one of the teams that plays down there, so we're loving it. But everybody that comes on here knows about it, I think. Just one other thing I picked up on as well. You were just saying about that. We're talking about transfers coming in, and Guedes, again, is this one of Mendy's little guys that's being pushed onto us? I don't know about the guy enough at the moment, so I'm not sure whether we've been steered into this.
Trying to get him, haven't they, for a long time? I know Mendes has been instrumental in the last things trying to get it over the line. Valencia need the money. It's looking like it's 27 million. Fabrizio has basically mentioned the player's name, Wolves, and here we go in the same sentence. So that's
he's put it all together.
99% done.
Well, I'll have a little look at the Mount Hotel and can see and tell everybody, because normally the players stop in there the night before they go for the medicals.
Yeah, we all know they go in the Mount.
Yeah, they're always in there.
Who is your man of the match for yesterday then, Sam?
Morgan Gibbs-White was my man of the match.
Yeah.
So I'll give it to them. Rating on the team, I'm giving the lowest of the lot. I think overall it was a very poor performance. I've got to give him 5 out of 10 overall.
Mate,
but,
Sam, nothing if not honest.
I've got to give him that. I saw pre-season, some of the players were looking sharp. Then they come out onto that game and it was lacklustre. We had a few moments. The first 20 minutes was all I saw of any passion, and it seemed to drop off. You say 20 minutes of the second half, I didn't see it the same way as you. There was something that wasn't quite there again.
Do you know what?
We were holding the ball, but not finishing it.
Do you know what, Sam? I thought, I mean, this is my view. I thought it was a perfect start, great start. In years gone by, 1-0 up, we don't lose, but we seem to be, every time we go in the lead against Leeds, we
lose.
Well, they drew and then obviously threw away a game last season that was so in control of. Leeds bullied us, with their high press. We started giving the ball away. Bruno's obviously gotten playing these one-touch type of things to try and open up teams. And that's great when it worked, but we'd stopped working and we kept giving the ball back to them. And then eventually the goal came. Den Donker should have finished that one at half-time.
Yeah.
I think Bruno got him in at half-time and he sat them down and you're panicking, boys, when you can control this game. And they came out in the second half and we literally controlled that game. Leeds were nowhere near touching us. They were the ones losing the ball. We were winning it back. And we didn't take our chances yet again as this old Achilles heel, which is why we need this striker coming in, someone that can put the ball in the back of the onion bag and take a half chance and put it away. And then we would, like you were probably thinking the same when you were there, they're going to get one chance and it's going to go in the back of the net. And lo and behold,
exactly what happened.
Bish, bash, bosh.
Bit of luck. Yeah,
and
wrong foot in the wrong place.
And they brought substitutes on, 4 substitutes. They got more energy on the park. And then we never really looked, looked as if we were going to get the equaliser.
What can we say the difference? They got 8 first-team players that they'd moved about or replaced. I think they got 6 injured. So theirs was a made-up team as effect. We were in the same position. What did they do differently to us? They didn't give up at the end. They saw a chance and took it. Although it was a lucky second goal for them, I think Nori will be kicking himself up, putting his right foot out.
It's one of those, isn't it, with a defender, because he's there trying to stop the keeper. And how many goals do we see defenders banging like that through the year? It's coming across. They're trying to block it or deflect it out. But if it catches them wrong, it goes in the back of the net. The keeper's got no chance. The problem was the cross should have been stopped first of all. And the first defender in front of Nori should have been anticipating the cross and cut it out, as Leeds did when we were getting the crosses in. They were stopping the cross at the near post most of the time before it got into the danger positions to finish it off. We got in. Nori was through in the second half when it was 1-1. And
right to the left.
It was a good block from the defender that came across. Den Donker got into the 6-yard box. Literally, all he had to do was dink it, and it's a goal. And he just tries to just tap it, pass it into the net. The keeper puts his leg out wide. The keeper's going to do that, so you dink it. A striker finishes that goal, and he didn't do it. And you don't take your chances in this division, Sam. You get
punished.
And
get punished.
We've got to solve that problem. Adrian says it right, guys. I don't know how many likes we've got. Let's smash all the likes if you're watching. We had nearly 200 watching all game. If you're brand new, please consider subscribing to the channel. Let's get us nearly that 30,000. So you've obviously made your points on Morgan, Conor, and Geddes. Obviously, the jury's going to be out. We'll find out more this week. Sam, I bet you've got some great programs to recommend to everyone.
Well, I don't do Netflix, as I've probably said before.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
I do have a a method of watching other games that we can't mention on here. Big up the people who sort that out for me; they're really good. I like the Big Bang Theory, but I like a certain person in the Big Bang Theory, and she just so happens to be in The Flight Attendant. I don't know if you've seen that. I think she's so Flight Attendant is one, but then I like some of the documentary programs that are on, like the Scrapyard, Junkyard Empire,
Challenge.
and Junkyard Empire and those type of things. So that intrigues me. But the big one that I've sort of binge watched on recently, because I missed it when it first came out, was Lost.
Yes.
I spent the summer watching the whole of that series off my little box from start to finish, and I just got hooked in that. So there's a few there, but my biggest one at the moment, I'd say, is you've got to watch the English Football League on ITV4, and you've then got to watch Match of the Day, haven't you? Just to see what the void of difference is between the two divisions.
You have to watch Match of the Day, mate. Have to watch Match of the Day. Sam, as always, absolutely brilliant. I do want to say, guys, a big thank you to our new partner for the show, Wolf Life. They're a Wolverhampton-based company. They basically do low-cost life insurance. The link is in the description below. Fill in the form and you get free entry. There's competitions, but the first one is to win a Wolves shirt. All you have to do is click the link, put the details in. They'll give you a quote, but you'll be in the draw to win a Wolves shirt as well. And actually, they help you out with your life cover as well. So, and they're a local Wolverhampton-based company. Sam, for a second there, had teleported to his office, but he's back again now with Conor Coady. Sam, final thoughts on the start of the season and your expectations for the year?
I'd hope to see us improve with the signings. I do think if Larg's going to stay as head coach, he needs to have more input into the team, and I think there needs to be quite a sum put down on the table to sort this team out. I don't think the selling at 40 million of a player and 12 million for Coady is going to make us any better than we are. I think we're talking 150 million pounds worth of players are needed to make this squad top six. I think we're going to be 14th to 16th, and I think we're just going to stay out the relegation zone. And that's where I see it after that performance.
Sam, did you watch the podcast with me, Manny, Paul, and
I saw that. Casey? Yeah, brilliant.
Manny hit it the nail on the head in some ways. He basically was the only one of us says, if we stay with this squad as it is, we're going to get relegated. But if we invest and bring in the right players, we could be as high as 6. At the moment, we just don't know. We're on a tipping point one way or the other. We're either going to go that way and it's going to be serious panic and everything's going to go sour, or if they get the right players and they get the right system, they get it, it could go the other way. Yeah. We're going to know in the next 3 weeks.
I know. The other thing that I thought was we've just bought Collins in from a relegated Burnley side. So he was in the defence of a team that got relegated. We've paid 20 million for him. I don't see that as a sound buy at 20 million if Cody's only going to come in at 12.
Do you know what, Sam, to finish off with, Collins is very, very highly rated. He might have been in a Burnley team that went down, but he only played half a season and he was basically one of pretty much their best players. There's a lot of teams that were interested in Collins. He's young. He's a good, I think you can see he's going to be a player. But you've got to have better players around him than what Burnley got. But I do agree how Conor Coady's played in the Premier League for 4 or 5 years, captain of his club, England international already. How can he only be valued at 12 million when Collins?
It makes no sense.
Surely Connor's got to be at least 20, 25. And I think that's the question that Wolves fans will be. Yeah, we love Conor. We can understand his reasons for why he wants to play. He wants to get into the England squad and all that. But Wolves are also a business. You can't be like letting him go for like
just peanuts.
They've got to pay the value of what he's worth. If Collins is worth 20 million and Harry Maguire is worth 80 million, and he's English as well, and he's an English international, And he's played so many games. Surely he's got to be worth at least 20, 25 million.
No, keep going upwards. 40, 45 million pound player. I feel he's as good as Maguire is on these days, if not better. Harry Maguire, I don't know. That's why Leicester let him go to Man United, because they knew it'd screw Man United up, and they're not doing as well as they used to.
Well, the glory days are gone. I mean, it's just funny. They started again this year, and they've lost again. So, that was you have to smile at things like that. To be fair, guys, listen. Thank you ever so much for tuning in tonight to the show. Check out the match vlog. Check out the instant reaction. That's had nearly 12,000 views straight after the game. The international fan's been out. We'll obviously keep you up to date here on Always Wolves Fan TV with all the latest developments. So hit the bell notifications. If you're watching this back on catch up, and if you watch it, leave a comment in the description. And if you're listening to it on the Always Wolves podcast, I hope you're enjoying that. Leave us a 5-star rating. From myself and all the guests tonight, thank you for debutants, for everyone that's coming on and making their opinions. And of course, you guys in the chat, because you make it all worthwhile with your comments as well. We've got Sam to finish us off with. So all the best to you guys. Love to you and families wherever you're watching and listening in the world. Until the next one, I'm Dazzling Dave. Always Wolves.
Always Wolves, folks.